Ever get that, like, phantom limb feeling? You know, when you leave your phone at home, it's like we're practically joined at the hip with these things these days.
Mm.
Games, news, doom scrolling while waiting for the coffee to brew. I mean, mine even helped me order a pizza at, let's just say, late last night.
It's true. Our phones are like extensions of ourselves at this point.
But what most people don't realize is that there's this whole battle royale going on behind the scenes, a fight for control over the very apps that we're glued to.
Yeah, it's wild, right? We just download and go.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive on a case that could completely upend things. Epic Games versus Google.
The clash of the titans.
You got that right. You've got Epic, the gaming powerhouse behind Fortnite, a game that basically took over the world for a while there.
Still massively popular.
Totally. And they're taking on Google, the behemoth of search. And, well, let's face it, they pretty much run the show for a huge chunk of smartphones with Android.
Yeah, it's a David and Goliath situation for sure.
Yeah.
And at the heart of it all, Epic dropped this bombshell accusation claiming that Google's Play Store is an illegal monopoly.
An illegal monopoly, huh? Lay it on us. What does that even mean in the world of apps?
So Epic's basically saying that Google's using its iron grip on Android to dictate exactly what apps we can access, how much we pay for them, the whole 9 yards.
So they're saying that Google's controlling our app destiny, and that affects anyone listening who owns an Android, which is, what, like a huge chunk of people?
Millions and millions. This is a big deal. It's like if there was only one store in town and everyone was forced to shop there no matter what.
Okay, I'm starting to see the problem here. No competition, no choices. What's Epic hoping to achieve with this lawsuit? What's the end game here?
They want a complete shakeup of the app world. Epic wants Google to open up the playing field and let other app stores operate freely on Android devices.
So instead of just the Google Play Store, we could have tons of options. Kind of like how we have different grocery stores to choose from.
Precisely. You might find better deals, a wider variety of apps, maybe even a store that aligns with your values, like one that prioritizes data privacy, for example.
More competition, more freedom of choice. Makes sense to me. But we're talking about Google here. They're not just going to roll over, right?
You're telling me. Even Amazon, with all its might and online dominance, they tried to launch their own app store a while back, and even they couldn't crack Google's hold on the market.
Wait, seriously? Amazon couldn't pull it off. What happened there?
It's this thing called the network effect. It's like a snowball effect, right? The more users Google Play gets, the more attractive it becomes to developers because that's where the people are.
So more users attract more developers who then create more apps, which in turn attracts even more users.
And round it goes. It's incredibly hard to break into that cycle. It's like this massive self-sustaining ecosystem that Google's built around its Play Store.
Okay, so Google's got this seemingly impenetrable fortress. How do you even begin to challenge that? What did Epic bring to the table?
They came armed with some pretty damning evidence. Internal Google documents that came to light during the trial showed that Google was fully aware of just how dominant they were in the market.
Ooh, internal documents. Sounds juicy. What kind of stuff are we talking about here?
Let's just say that these documents painted a picture, and it wasn't exactly a masterpiece of ethical business practices.
So we get Epic going up against the Titan, armed with internal memos that basically expose Google's tactics. This is where it gets good, right? So what happened when this showdown went to court? Did the jury buy Epic's arguments?
Well, in a twist that surprised a lot of people, the jury actually sided with Epic.
No way! They ruled against Google. That's huge!
It was a major blow to Google, no doubt, and it sent shockwaves through the tech world. This wasn't some slap on the wrist. This was a clear message.
All right, so the jury's spoken. Google's been found guilty of some shady business. But what does that actually mean for them? What are the consequences?
Get ready, because this is where Judge Donato enters the scene. And let me tell you, he did not come to play.
Okay, time for Judge Donato to lay down the law. Did Google get off with a slap on the wrist, or did he throw the book at them?
Let's just say Judge Donato isn't messing around. He hit Google with a 3-year injunction.
Okay, back up for a sec. An injunction. In plain English, what does that actually mean for Google?
It's a pretty big deal. Think of it like a yellow card in soccer. Google's not out of the game yet, but they're being watched very, very closely. For the next 3 years, they've got to play by a whole new set of rules.
3 years in the penalty box for Google. So what exactly does this mean for their iron grip on the Play Store?
Here's the big one. Google can no longer block other app stores from setting up shop on Android devices.
Whoa, really? So it's like finally being able to try out those cool independent bookstores instead of being stuck with just one chain.
Exactly. More options, more variety. And speaking of options, starting November 1st of this year, developers can finally tell you about other ways to pay for their apps. You might be able to bypass those Google Play billing fees.
Wait a minute. So no more feeling forced to use Google's payment system. That could be a game changer for users and developers.
Absolutely. Developers could potentially keep more of their earnings, and users might find better deals on those in-app purchases or subscriptions. It's a win-win, at least in theory.
Okay, there's always a but coming, right? It can't all be sunshine and roses. What's the catch here?
Well, Google still gets to be the sheriff when it comes to app safety and security. They're still on the hook for making sure the apps available on these new platforms meet certain standards.
Right, we don't want a Wild West situation with shady apps running rampant. But come on, we both know Google, right? I bet they'll try to use this safety thing to their advantage somehow.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The court's wise to Google's tactics, though, so the injunction forces them to prove they're not just blocking apps or messing with the competition under the guise of safety.
So no more arbitrarily kicking apps off the Play Store or making it impossible for competitors to even get their foot in the door.
In theory, no. They even have to let other app stores promote themselves directly through Google Play. Imagine that.
Wow, talk about awkward. It's like forcing a supermarket to put up flyers for its biggest competitor right in the middle of the cereal aisle. It sounds like Judge Donato did his research and is calling out Google's every move. But let's be real, this is Google. They've got an army of lawyers on speed dial. They're not going to go down without a fight, right?
Oh, absolutely not. This is far from over. In fact, Epic filed another lawsuit against Google just last week, this time bringing Samsung into the mix. They claim Samsung's already trying to wriggle out of the injunction before it's even officially in place.
This is like a real-life legal thriller, and we're all just along for the ride. So while we grab some popcorn and settle in for the next episode of this legal drama, let's talk about what this means for us regular folks who just want to use our phones without a law degree.
Right, because this isn't just about billion-dollar companies duking it out in court. This case could have a huge impact on everyone who uses a smartphone.
Okay, so Act 4, the grand finale, where we finally get to see what this new app world might actually look like for, well, us, the people who just want to play Candy Crush in peace.
Yeah, exactly. But imagine, instead of just Candy Crush, you open up your phone, and it's like this whole new world of app possibilities.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Paint me a picture. What does this brave new app world look like?
Okay, let's say you're really big on privacy. You want apps that handle your data with kid gloves. Well, there could be a whole app store dedicated to just that. Or maybe you're tired of the same old games and want something truly unique. Boom, an independent app store specializing in indie games.
So more niche stores catering to specific interests rather than just one giant everything store.
Right. More personalized, curated experiences. It puts the power back in the hands of the users, which, let's be honest, is how it should be. And, of course, there's the impact on our wallets.
Yes. The all-important bottom line. Tell me more.
Well, remember how we were talking about those in-app purchases, the ones that are always tempting you to spend a little bit more?
Oh, you mean like that Extra Life in Candy Crush? Yeah, I know them well.
Exactly. Well, those could get a whole lot cheaper if developers aren't beholden to Google's payment system. They could offer alternative options, potentially with lower fees, and pass those savings on to us.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. This is starting to sound pretty good. But let's not kid ourselves. Google isn't just going to sit back and watch its app empire crumble, right?
Oh, not a chance. They've made it crystal clear they're not going down without a fight. We're talking about a company with almost limitless resources. Appeals, legal maneuvers, you name it, it's coming.
So this is less of a final act and more like intermission.
Pretty much. This thing could drag on for years. But here's the thing. This case is about way more than just Epic and Google.
Okay, bring it home for us. What are the bigger implications here?
This case sets a precedent. If Epic ultimately wins, it could trigger a ripple effect throughout the entire tech industry. Think about it. Apple's App Store, Amazon's stranglehold on ebooks. This could be the first domino to fall.
It's like we're witnessing a seismic shift in the tech landscape. It
Yeah.
makes you wonder, what else is out there? What other battles are being waged behind closed doors that we don't even know about?
It's a whole world of digital power struggles, my friend. But hey, so why we're here, right? To shine a light on these issues and get people talking.
Absolutely. And speaking of talking, this whole conversation has got my wheels turning. If we could hit the reset button and rebuild the app world from scratch, what would that even look like?
Now there's a question. Do we want an app-osphere that's tightly controlled by a handful of mega corporations, or are we ready for something different, something more open, diverse, and, dare I say, user-centric?
It's like we're standing at a fork in the digital road. And the best part is, we, the users, actually get a say in which path we take.
Exactly. Never forget that.
That's a great point to end on. So to everyone listening, stay informed, stay engaged, and never be afraid to demand better from the companies that control so much of our digital lives. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been quite a ride.
My pleasure. Always happy to geek out about the future of tech. Until next time.